Hey everybody, welcome to the newest. This is D for Play. Now you might be wondering, what could be possibly up? Well, if you haven't heard, we've changed what we do. We have changed what we call things here in PAX DEI. We are no longer on verses. We are no longer doing the verse thing. You might have heard the last verse 6. Going to verse 7, you might have heard of these things because the idea of alliances and homesteading. Alliances used to be verse 6. Now they've moved to a more perfect verse 7. So what's with this R47? Well, in-house and mainframe, they use RXX for whatever they have going. And they translate that to us as they have periods of things going on. So one thing I want to cover is that I think I'm getting rid. Don't ask me why it took me this long to do this or to notice it, but it could be done. But you can unclick these old frozen plots, and when I time out, because we're going in game, we're going to see how fast it boots really quick, and then we're going straight to Discord. So here we go with that. It's been a very serious move forward with PAX DEI. If you haven't looked at it in a while, I thank you for joining me. I have changed the channel. Talk all about that. I did not delete my channel. Hello, Catnap. Sorry to catch you off guard. One of your plots has been released. Now, here's another section of tabs where you have envelopes that you can check. We're going to see if that changes things. I have a couple other things to check. We have things going on in the public test server. So, enough of you, Catnap. Sorry, Catnap. We are running very smooth, very nice, very clean in PAX DEI. Don't want to belittle anything. One thing we're talking about is when things expire. Now I have this constant August because we got 12 going in. I bumped it up by 1, but it still seems rather short. So we're going to be looking at that a little bit later in time as we work it out. There's quite a discussion going on it. Plus I want to work out some things with Discord before I get into that. Catnap, we'll see in a little bit. I swear we will. Now, in Discord, what you have going on is a whole lot of news. Like, what, really? It's just an announcement. No, there's more than that. And please stick with me, because we're going to cover 3 primary topics today. You can see the tabs going up and down, perhaps. I haven't added any on this one. This one I was so happy I just knocked everyone I agreed with. Well, I usually don't agree with that many. Like right now. Bang. Love that one. Love that one. Any U.S. flags? I happen to be in the U.S. It's a bullseye. It's a thumbs up. It is archery. Archery. That's the big thing. I love archery. I love hunting. I think it's hot. It's fun. It's fun. The telemetry. So what do you got going on? Hello, PAXIANS. As we mentioned last Tuesday, the release of R47 is imminent. Now, if you caught the last newest, I really punched in on this R47. Oh. How does this sound, Mike? Ah, nothing like a nice beverage. I hope Hope you're enjoying life with all the earthquakes happening around. I'm sure there's quite a few PAXIANS. Well, I pray you can get back online, and that's the most of your troubles. I pray nothing worse. Hello, PAXIANS. As we mentioned last Tuesday, the release of R47 is imminent. We are planning to deploy it on the ARCADIA PTS early next week, potentially as soon as Monday. That means I got to get busy. That means I got to get hot. Got things going on. I might not look like where I've been if you have seen me before. There are things afoot. In the meantime, we thought, we'd share a few screenshots to answer some of the questions we've seen over the past few days. And questions and responses. As you can see over here, I have Spire pulled up because I was looking for particular things that were on his notice. He was responding to us. He responded to me. Ooh, there I am. I'm not naked and famous. No, Spire and Peter and the others respond to many on Discord. I have no rankings or anything else. It is just what goes on. These people are cool. That's why I'm here. Today's preview includes many of you have asked whether the new achievement system is only for new players. We're going to talk about that. While our primary goal was to improve onboarding, we also had time to add plenty of achievements for veteran PAXIANs. A lot of people are having a hard time when they first get into PAX Day. They are having a very hard time going, well, we heard it. I will say Penny Loafer. Penny Loafer had a nice little vid, being very used to how other experiences treat you. You are this. You will go that direction, and you will find these things. And then you run into all sorts of sidetracking issues, and pretty soon your life has gone by and your kids have grown up, right? So PAX Day is a simulator. Simulators, well, they're a tough sell. I love them. But do we need a little bit of achievement, a little bit of a prescribed thing? Something to break the ice, something to get us going. They're thinking about that. What's it going to be? Achievements for veteran PAXIANs and a new achievements, the new achievement system. Well, only for new players. No, it's not. Some are already wondering, hey, are they going to get achievements? I've already been playing this long. Am I going to get them too? Well, I think you should want to earn them again. Well, what about all the named bosses I've taken out? Well, you're going to do it again. The standing archery target, when you hit it, your score will be announced to other players nearby. You've seen this. We're going to look at that. See that? As you know, we are adding a set of new recurve bows. Pictured is the rare T3 recurve. So what are the goodies? So we have this. Now, you know when you go up to a work site, are we going to get this object? We're going to get this object? So pretty. It is very nice. Very nice. Looks like something I used to set a cool pounder of beer upon. So we have these at the workshops, right? Are those going to announce? That'd be cool. They're probably like, really? You. The recurve. So, it's rather nice. Good detail. I haven't looked up at the bows very clearly. Bullseye, 10 points. Nice. I'm feeling better about this all the time. This is by a Petra May? No, this is near a plot. Near a Petra. So this is a private thing, isn't it? Practice your archery. This is great. This is vast improvements. What's this? Objectives. Hunt a wild animal. It will hunt you if you don't. Gather wild berries or mushrooms. You know, right? The wilderness provides for those who dare. You stalked your first prey and brought home meat for the fire. Mm. Yes, very nice, very nice. No, I'm not going to click right into it. I could. Okay, so the Reckoning of Kabadastia. Hunt down Inspector of Excrements. Not hot on my list, but these are the named dudes and dudettes out there. Hunt down the Eye of Duralizin. Hunt down Priest of Zeb. Hunt down Spider. Hunt down the Fet Mistress. Hunt down Warden of the Hall. And then you get these things. Rewards. Crimson Runic Leash. Ah, very nice. And a Tattered Sigil. Very nice. Very nice. I feel fulfilled just knowing what's coming. Warded Stalker Recurve Bow. Right? A finely crafted recurve bow favored by hunters and trackers, protected by ancient wards. It's got the recurves. But, 575 item power, 500 base power, 75 skill power, things like 94 on accuracy. What is that, is that just, I mean, if you're not accurate, well, your intended shot. That's all I can come up with. What you intended will occur will occur 94% of the time. And 161 damage. And they're talking about one-shotting boars. So what else could be so special around here? Let's check this out. Peter jumped on 5:58 a.m. my time, which I don't quite have focused in on what their time would be. So here's some leaks on bows. Are you glad you made it? If you've watched this far, I absolutely congratulate you at 12 minutes and 10 seconds. We try very hard, me, myself, and I, to keep you up to date on what is happening and what they are saying, and to give you that, man, these devs are devs. They're not just in it for the money. They can't be in it for the money. Okay. Peter. Helfari. Here's some leaks on bows. 2 bow classes. We now have 2 distinct bow classes. Recurve bows are the new addition. Faster arrows, harder hits, but slower to reload and aim. Longbows are the revamped classic class, rebalanced to complement the new lineup. Both classes come in tiered, uncommon, and rare variants. Rare relics on named enemies. Nice. Nice. Some named enemies that previously dropped rather underwhelming relics have been upgraded. They now carry rare bow relics, and don't worry, you'll still get their old relic too. So it's pure upside. Win-win. Thank you, Peter. Draw to deal. Bows must be fully drawn to deal full damage. Not the thing, which you can do. And the aiming reticle now lights up when you've reached full draw. Nice. So you'll always know when to release. That would help so many relationships. The reticle is also sized to reflect each bow's accuracy and scatter, so you can visually gauge what you're working with at a glance. Aim camera. When you draw an arrow, the camera shifts to an over-the-shoulder view and stays there until you've stopped aiming or shooting for a couple of seconds before reverting to the zoom state you had before. 1001, 1002. This little guy's, I'm coming back. Bows now require dedicated crafting components. You asked for it. Staves and strings for their construction. Arrows have also gotten more involved. Most now require arrow shafts crafted with feathers. A new resource. Make all your arrows fast, man. Wooden and flint arrows are the exception. Okay, well, still make them fast. They skip the feathered shaft entirely, keeping them cheap and accessible, though their increased flight fall-off means shorter effective range. Ooh, not so hot, right? Because those other ones, man, you can tag people from way out. Wow. Flint, not so much. Bronze, a bit more. Feathers are gathered from birds, right? We had the birds update. If you caught that in the last, or check out Discord if you haven't heard of it. You're going to see me doing it on the test server, and I will be booting up as soon as possible. Which now, feathers are gathered from birds, which now drop feathers of varying quality. Birds don't yet provide meat or eggs, birds' nests. That's coming with the food revamp. Delicious. Bunny recipes tends to the first prey you run into without getting attacked. That might be an initial nice one over the fire. I know, always adding more, always adding more. Example of arrow variety. Silver arrows are now properly tier 4 alongside steel arrows. They trade a bit of raw damage for superior flight accuracy, a meaningful choice rather than a clear upgrade or downgrade. Nice. Hunting. Deer, boar, chamois, and small animals now have reduced piercing resistance, making bows and spears meaningful, more effective for hunting. Meaningfully more effective for hunting. Better damage scaling. Bow damage scales more generously across the board, and arrow quality matters more than before. Top tier bows and arrows now hit hard enough to make a real impression. The kills. You know, hey, hunters know you don't have time to put 2 arrows into something. You gotta get them, or you're chasing them forever. Look forward to your feedback on balance here. Both combat balance and arrow crafting economy. That is sweet, sweet, and it goes on. It goes on. Sharing the same bow skill. What's that all about? The arrows in this update won't have those types of on-hit effects. They're talking about effects, but definitely possible in the future, like when we reintroduce fire arrows at some point. Yes, definitely going to keep tabs on what new bows and arrows do in PvP with the new balance. Just used fire as an example. He said they're not included this release, just restating to not cause confusion. Teasing! Nothing worse than fake leaks. No fire. No fire. You did not hear it here, but you heard it here. You heard it here. It's the first thing on Peter's mind. We like the fire effects. They're fun. They freak people out. They make you feel like you're in a hurry. It depends on how well we manage to strike the right balance. Hoping it's good, but always prepared to iterate on availability of feathers, of course. Right? Well, you know, how will these feathers be? Will the feather drops, Godfather Dan says, be generous or crafting requirement reasonable? Or are we talking about another potential, right? You can check that out. Well, that's always the case. So it's wait and see, basically. Well, that's always the case before things go live. We did our best to find the right balance, but we never know for certain until things go into the wild. And that's all I got for Peter. You can read on. Peter talks quite a lot in this section. You beat me to it and things like that. He'll throw in wooden arrow recipe at you unchanged, right? Right. So last night, Spire got on, and we had just finished a conversation that concluded in Jack Wild asking about something I was experiencing, which was if you connected your Discord so long ago, verse 1, things happened. Things happen. What is it, the SDK? I always get it wrong, right? Right, SDK and all that. So it's I think it's SDK. I can't remember what it stands for, so it's difficult to remember. Anyway, Spire gave me a hint right here. Pause this and talked about resetting the connection, which I will be trying out later, but that's not the point. The point is, Spire got on. Yeah, our crowd. It is the best crowd. It is. Where is he? Where is he? The moment. What was that moment? What was that moment? I don't know what they're talking about. Mouse balls. Now, Spire got on and said good morning, and wonder what lessons write-ups we could make from recent times. Right? People are asking questions and stuff like that, hardest recorded temperatures and everything else. But so, if I understood correctly, the bug fixing, there's Daft. If I understood correctly, this was caused by UE 5.6 changing the ability system, so we had to make small fixes to every single ability. And this broke a thing with which abilities are determined to be active when blocking. The blocking issue. The quick Eltari had mentioned it. They narrowed it down with large dungeon play that if you are off your cooldown, which you will be, just whatever, man. I'm not. Yeah, I figured it'd be a few minor adjustments needed in some places. What about the textures for the granite walls, right? So there's some fixes we'll be still investigating. There's really something weird going on with the engine determining which texture resolution to use. Maybe it's too big of a jump. Maybe there needs to be a couple median textures on especially angled objects or where people are mentioning. And for 7, right? And for 7, we wanted to focus on adding as much gameplay as we could in the short time we had, plus fix most critical gameplay issues, right? Yeah, it does take time, Cool K said, but that's okay. If not everything gets fixed right away, because man, more things come up. Or if an update isn't error-free, because you wait forever. The most important thing is that everything has remained stable and intact. An update like that isn't exactly risk-free, right? So the list of achievements turned out to be a bit longer than I was expecting. They came up, oh my goodness, they did themselves a whole lot of spreadsheet work. That's what they did to tell the leak for the R47. AI has its potentials, so checking with the team if we spill the leaks today. We just read the leaks, right? So this is going back a little. Okay, it looks like we'll do more if the leak happens. Now, all right, now, here's a, no, stop that. Dang it, beers, lubricant. Currently, it takes, while he's talking about, just kidding. So, as he said here, we are sorry for the quiet period. There's been a lot going on, causing us to drop the ball. Build system progress bars move too slowly. Can someone get us some thread rippers? There's a link down here. I pray they don't. Currently it takes almost 3 hours to make a new full build. So that's waiting for a business day, beginning to end, or as he mentions, overnight. The slowest part of the process is the so-called asset cook, where Unreal packages all the content, right? Which includes a lot of compression and complexity, dependency, graph analysis for figuring out what asset goes to which file, as the engine needs to understand every dependency to complete this. Currently, it takes almost 3 hours to make a new full build. The slowest part of the process is the so-called asset cook, where Unreal packages all the content, which includes a lot of compression and complex dependency graph analysis for figuring out what asset goes to which file, as the engine needs to understand every dependency to complete this. I get it. I pray we all get it. A builder needs 128 gigabytes of RAM plus 500 gigabyte swap file to do this effectively, and a ton of disk space just to move all that, right? And that's where your computer fails, is not having the disk space to move stuff. You're like, I have enough room, but you don't have enough swap space. And the client build is repeated for each distribution platform. We need server builds. The client build install is 28 gigabytes right now, but the project source, excluding art assets, is 202 gigabytes. So we need a pretty big drives and workstations as well. I'm not, you know, I enjoy doing apologetics for mainframe because all I have to do is read what they say. And if you see the beauty of PAX Day, you can certainly see where it's gotten us. Now, this is where Jack brings up, can I add this Discord account to all my PAX accounts? I would love that. I do not want to do simultaneous play unless I'm just having fun with you guys. There are people who would do that, and the anti-cheat system and Discord or someone else seeing it as a double login. This makes it difficult, and that comes up. So on that, having your Discord account know when your other accounts are on. This is how we got to the point with this is important. Let's just, okay, pause this and read this. I'll ask, but I'm pretty sure that's not supported with by the Discord SDK. Is that what I wrote? I know, I'm full of myself. Anyway, no, right, we'll see that later. And reason too much, too insecure, no problem. It isn't, because it's just like you're double binking it, right? I can poke and ask the Discord engineering. Their usual response to this kind of ask, wow, that's interesting. We didn't think someone wants that. Come on, we're gamers, man. We're gamers. So Discord added support for game friends after we made the integration to SDK. When we have the time to jump onto a friends list, we'll make it so you can add friends inside the game that are game only and won't leak to the main Discord. The permissions we're working on right now has a concept of trusted friends, which is a separate list of people you manage outside of chat. This group can be given permissions separate from clan permissions. The default when this goes in is planned to work so that players in the trusted friends list have destruction rights on your plot, but nobody in the clan does. So you can kind of run a mini clan inside a larger clan, building help. If you want Oakberry, I'll just mention because I only know Oakberry builds because everybody tells me through chat, other things, streaming, that Oakberry builds. So I met Oakberry. Everybody was like, welcome back. People were like, oh, I'm glad people came back. But I'm like, I'm not saying that there was any chance that Oakberry wouldn't, unless life itself, unless he was caught one of the darn earthquakes. Right? So, right? It's coolness. These leaks, just search Spire, search Peter, rock the Discord, look up the details, look up little things. I do it because that's how I get these little ideas about where mainframe is going. And so do all those who also participate. I'll scratch the previous message for today's leak. We're expanding that post a little. Okay, right. All right, that's it. I'm getting out of here. You've spent enough of your fragile time on me. Winamp Skin Museum. Now, I'm just seeing Phoenix got on. Dun. NASA Mun has a very popular video out there. I'm so jealous. But here it is. The quiver. It's a quiver. They showed us a quiver. So many things have been eliminated from what they proposed, and even things we saw in verse 1 that were so cool. Chainmail under ladies' dresses or finer gear, so you could just be like, not take it hard in the bushes when you're wearing gear that has no combat stats, right? So that was very helpful, and that was a lot of fun, because wearing that stuff around the yard, well, you got to be pretty tough on boars. Well, okay, that's enough of me. I thank you for joining me. This is the newest. Yes, the channel's EPIOUSIOS, because Deep for Play got depth charged. And that's a short, long story. It got hijacked, and then anyway, and then they deleted it. So there we are. Here we are. PAX Day is still going. I'm still going. I praise the Lord that you're here, and I thank you for taking any time to check out the newest in PAX Day. All right, well, let's get out of here. Peace out. Gotta have the music.